What a great topic. It's important to understand what makes up a safety management system. We're used to systems at work. They tend to make our work environment easier. We have payroll systems, we have information systems, we have production systems, all kinds of systems. Your safety management system would be all your initiatives and efforts that drive safety. Hi, Brian McCordy here for Safeopedia. Let's look at a basic safety management system structure. What you want is a nice structured approach to all your safety efforts and initiatives. And having a safety management system in place will help you to do that. Okay, I'm going to run you through a basic structure. It starts with a safety statement, then hazard assessments, looking at your safety programs, training, accident investigations, and documentation and reporting. So let's back it on up to the beginning there. A safety statement is a great way to kick off your safety management system. And what that is a basic statement saying how you regard safety in your work environment. It would be something along the line of, here at Brian's Widget Factory, we value our employees' safety. And we expect all employees to work in a safe manner and follow our safety rules and regulations and guidelines. We want to set the record straight that we know people will have a tendency to take risks for performance, but we're showing that safety is number one. Safety is most important. So have that safety statement in place. Next is hazard assessments. We want a structured approach for how we flush out unsafe conditions and behaviors. So you want a schedule for when you do safety walks and hazard assessments, and a standardized form that you use. A hazard assessment form would capture the hazard, your exposure level, and then severity level. And then you prioritize based on the most severe and down to the lowest. So you give everything a number rating. Notice again, everything has a standardized approach to it, a structure. When you put together your hazard assessment form, again, you can go online and find lots of templates and lots of forms that you can use to kind of pattern yours off of. But those main components are that list of the hazard, again, how often someone is exposed to it, and the severity. Exposure might be all the time. I've been in a work environment where people had to wear earmuffs or earplugs because the decibel levels were so high. So for that hazard of loud noise, the exposure level was all the time, basically. Or you could have something where they're only exposed to it, once a year in a confined space or something along that line. But capture them all and prioritize them. Then for every one, you need a control measure in place. We can work around hazards all day long and never be in danger as long as a control measure is put in place for that hazard to control it. So again, we have our safety statement now and our hazard assessment. Now, safety programs go along with those control measures. OSHA or your governing agency, based on your business type, might mandate that you have certain safety programs like bloodborne pathogens or respirators. A respirator program would cover anyone in your work environment that has to wear a respirator, because there are protocols and training that must go along with that. A person for a respirator has to be fit tested, has to be signed off by a doctor as physically fit enough to wear a respirator. So again, if the control measure involves a safety program, you want to make sure those are in place and well documented. Other safety programs might include confined space training or hot work permits. But you make sure that for those control measures for the hazards, if there are safety programs that need to be implemented, you're meeting all those. Again, part of that structured approach. The next step is training. If we've done hazard assessments that have control measures but nobody knows about them, it's not going to do us a whole lot of good. So training is the next step. And with training, again, often this training has to be annual, and you need to keep records of who was trained, have them sign what the training topics were, and even the training material. And often an auditor might even want you to be able to show and verify that the training was effective. Are people using lockout, tag out, chalking tires, doing the things that they learned in the training? Okay, the next step down would be accident investigations. Okay, we've done all these things, but maybe an accident's happened anyway. Okay, you need a structured approach for that as well. It doesn't matter if you're looking at an incident, damage to property, near miss, or an accident, they all need to be recorded and investigated. In most of the places I've worked, we use the same form for all of those. You want to do an investigation. If there's a control measure that needs to be put in place to keep it from happening again, you want to capture that, put it down, then do a follow-up to make sure it's effective. For everything that I've talked about, again, it's pretty straightforward, but you need documentation and a history to show this is actually happening. So hopefully you get all this in place, and a few years from now they want to see your accident investigations from 2017 or your training records from 2017. You can pull them up. Again, with cloud storage and mobile devices, we can make a lot of this much easier than it was years ago when everything had to be, hard copy and filed. But this, what I've laid out for you is the bare basics, I would say, of a safety management system. So look at all your efforts and initiatives for safety and health, and this is your safety management system. You want a structured approach. Again, you don't want things falling between the cracks, and this gives you a baseline that you can draw improvements on. One of the things I would suggest if you're at the beginning stages of this, or even you've been at it for a while, is don't do this in isolation. Don't reinvent the wheel. Talk to other safety professionals in your town that you might know, and look what they've done. Reach out to Safeopedia, find out what resources are out there. We're glad to help in any way we can with answering questions and pointing you in the direction of good resources. So hopefully this gave you at least a basic understanding of what makes up a safety management system. So thanks for watching. Again, feed us your questions and stay safe. Brian McWhorter for Safeopedia.